All right, guys, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run video. And today we are going to be reviewing the Orc Faction. We've gone through a reasonable amount of these so far. We still have more to go. Today we're going to be looking at Orcs, and let's just get into it because there's a lot of them. All right, so our first one, Garrel Blood Maul. I mean, this, I can't tell if this is evil or sexy, but it's one of those things. All right, let's see what this Garrel Blood Mod does. What it is. All right, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on the target by 2 turns. Also removes shield buffs. I mean, that's not terrible. Attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn, and then also places unkillable buff on this champion. So they're provoked and you're unkillable, so that's okay. Removes block buffs, debuffs from all allies, and places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns, which is good, but 3 turns unkillable. So basically, let's just hypothetically say you're going to use this. You provoke everyone. You're probably not going to use this one too much, so you're probably going to switch right into this, which has a 3-turn cooldown. This has a 4-turn cooldown. So I guess that means you have the 4 turns here, so that drops to 3 when you use this. So essentially you can basically put unkillable on the whole. So this is like an unkillable hero. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. I guess this is a unkillable champ. So that's nice. And then transforms, and we have a passive. When attacked, decreases the duration of all buffs on the attacker by 1 turn. Also heals all allies except this champion by 50% of the damage taken whenever this champion is hit. Occurs once per hit. So that's not bad. I'll take that. But let me just see something real quick. Is that something that we do? Yeah, Hydra, Minotaur. Where's that? Did I miss Demon Lord? Huh, that's weird. Oh, here we go. 4.6. Yeah, I mean, I guess this could be used as an unkillable. I don't know. Like I said, I've never had an unkillable team, but either way, it seems like it'd be reasonable. It's not. It doesn't seem like stupid overpower, but it seems pretty strong. All right. Attacks all enemies. 25% chance of repeating the attack. Okay, that's okay. Attacks all enemies. Damage of the skill increases by 10% for each buff on this champion. Transforms champion. And then whenever an ally attacks, this champion has a 25% chance to team up with them and join their attack. Damage increases as the champion's HP decreases. I mean, doesn't sound bad, and looks kind of badass, right? With all the fire going. So I mean, it's nothing crazy. I don't think this is like the best hero in the world, but not bad. I'll take it. All right, Gorhack. Attacks 2 times at random. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing decreased speed. Hate the random thing. It's bad. Attacks all enemies. Each critical hit fills its champion's turn meter, and attacks 1 enemy, steals the target's turn. Yeah, no. This right here ruins it because if you have a counter and you attack 2 times at random, you're going to end up setting off counters. If you bring him in Spider, he's going to be bad. Like, yeah, exactly. What a surprise. Anybody who has a random attack on your A1, garbage. All right, let's see. Attacks 1 enemy, places a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Attacks 1 enemy, places a stun debuff, has an 80% chance of teaming up with 3 random allies. Oh, it's chance. So I guess 100% here. Allies joining the attack will use default skills. So, I mean, this kind of thing, it still needs accuracy, right? So it's not like it's a guarantee. It's just an 80% chance, which means 100%. So if your accuracy is low, you could conceivably miss that, I guess. So that's a little weird. Places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 3 turns, then attacks all enemies. I mean, that's not bad either. Everyone likes her. I don't think she's the best thing ever. Yeah, I can say this. She's got some weak points. Not terrible, not great. Just okay. Good enough. All right, Tila Gormain. It's basically her sister. They're basically the exact same hero, just different colors. Attacks 1 enemy, steals 1 random buff from the target, and a 50% chance of stealing another buff if the target has 2 or more buffs. Okay. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing HP burns. Okay, that's cool. For 2 turns, also places continuous heal buff, like that too. Attacks all enemies, has an 85% chance of increasing the duration of all HP burn defects. Love that. Also has an 85% chance of placing a leech buff and a debuff of Hex for 2 turns. That's insane. Wow, she is really good actually. She's got a good. Really? There must be something weird with her multipliers or something, but that's a really badass skill set, and she's based on HP, right? This is all HP. Yeah, everything she does is based on HP, whereas hers is all based on attack, which is I guess whatever. I actually like her better on paper. Whether she's better or not, that's up to you to decide. Daneg Skullreap, one of the most interesting looking heroes in the game, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense, and the chance increases to 50% if the target is under a fear. Okay, that's great. Hopefully he has fear. Attacks all enemies, has 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns and a true fear debuff for 1 turn. Champions from the High Elf and Dark Elf factions cannot resist these debuffs. That's basically useless. Um, but it's 1 turn for the True Fear, which means you have 1 turn. If they go faster, you lose it, and then you don't get this chance, this increased chance. That's weird. Attacks one enemy, will ignore shield buffs, decrease the cooldown of the Battle Flow skill by 2 turns. Which one's Battle Flow? Oh, this one. That is Battle Flow. Okay. Fills his champion's turn meter by 30% and places a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns if the attack kills an enemy. So this decreases the cooldown of this skill. That's weird. And it has a 4 turn cooldown. So by using it, just put it on a lower cooldown. Like that's so dumb. Let's see. Heal this champion by 50% of their max HP every time this champion kills an enemy. Yeah, I mean he's a waste. It's garbage. I don't know why people like him. He's like such a waste. Would he be useful somewhere? I'm sure, but he's not like anything good. Artak, we don't need to go into. Everyone's got him. He's an HP burner. He's a reasonable hero. He's good for a lot of things. Probably got great reviews. Yeah, he's good for a lot of early game stuff, and you can definitely blast through Spider with him. Great for Hydra. Great for even Clan Boss. Like a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, if you got him, build him. He's pretty cool. Robar. Sounds like a cookie bar. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a stun debuff, and grants an extra turn if the debuff is placed. Okay. Attacks all enemies. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Oh, I like that. Attacks all enemies again. That's good. Damage increases if the target is under a debuff, basically, and accuracy and ally. All right, so this one is weird. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn and grants an extra turn if the debuff is successfully placed. So, in theory, with high enough accuracy and good luck, you could just cycle through enemies, stunning them one at a time, and placing and getting an extra turn. So you can get as many extra turns as you can stuns. Now, is that going to happen 10 times in a row, like on the spiders? I doubt it. It was 50% chance. All right. That means it's not going to happen often. But with high enough accuracy, I feel like, yeah, you could make that something that's at least useful to get through something, even though it wouldn't be a 100% chance of it happening. You know what I mean? There you go. Robar. Not bad. I like him. Gomlock Sky High. This guy's funny. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a leech. Also, a 50% chance of placing leech debuff for 2 turns on 2 random enemies if the champion has full HP. Okay. Attacks one enemy, has 60% chance of stealing all buffs from the target. Also has a 60% chance of stealing 50% of the target's turn meter. So that is a really good skill, actually. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing decreased defense for 2 turns. The first hit on each target also has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter. On the second hit, each target also has a 75% chance of placing a weaken. So you get weaken, decreased defense, and turn meter manipulation with this guy. And whenever 4 more buffs are placed on the enemy team in a single turn, places a shield buff on this champ. All right, I mean it's whatever, but it's not amazing, but it's good. But yeah, the fact that you can steal, not remove, steal. It means you take them. And turn meter. That means he's going to constantly cycle through and steal buffs and steal turn meter. So I actually don't hate him. He's got terrible reviews, but I don't hate his skill set. He must have really bad multipliers for people to hate him that much, or they just got pissed off because there's like one thing that's wrong, so they just review bombed him. I'm sure it happens. All right, King Garog attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 35% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. The chance increases to 50% if the target's turn meter is equal to or below 50%. More than likely, you're stunning someone because they are close to getting their turn meter, so this is a stupid ass skill. Attacks one enemy 4 times. Each critical hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the cooldown of Gore Maker. What is Gore Maker? Is that this one? Attacks all enemies, will ignore 20% of each target's defense, will ignore a further 5% of defense for each buff on the target. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Increases champion speed by 6 and crit damage by 7 for each enemy this champion kills in a round. I mean, yeah, okay. Stacks up to 30 speed and 30% crit damage. Stacks will reset if this champion is killed. Okay, well, that's cool. Whenever an enemy champion is revived, fill this champion's turn meter by 30% for each enemy revived, and then place an increased attack and increased crit damage buff. I mean, it's all kind of little like niche things. He's not terrible, but it's just like he's good for like little things. So it's not surprising that he would have bad reviews. I'm not really. Yeah, this was stupid right here. I really don't care about that. He's not that good. Nodgar, the head hunter. All right, attacks one enemy, heals the champion by 10% of their max HP. I like that. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Even better. And this is based on attack. I don't like that. Attacks all enemies. After attacking, this champion sacrifices HP equal to 50% of their max HP, then places a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. The HP sacrifice will happen even if it kills this champion. So that's terrible. I already hate it. Sacrifices HP equal to 50%. Champion, yeah, no. Equalizes, no, this guy's got to be garbage. Yeah, garbage. Don't do this stuff. HP needs to stay where it is. That's the whole thing. Forget it. Iron Brago. Let's see. Attacks one enemy, 20% chance of decreasing duration of all buffs. That's okay. Places 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns. Then attacks one enemy and has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Has a 75% chance of placing a stun. Like, these are becoming books and they're boring me. Like, that's kind of how these guys are because it's just such a bunch of garbage. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of provoke, so that's good. Places a 50% increased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns if Iron Brago is under increased defense. Once again, this is really stupid. I don't like having situational stuff. Increases defense of all allies by 10% of this champion's defense. See, that right there makes him good. I would just throw a bunch of defense on him and just let him be there. What's this thing? Doom Tower Battles defense. Yeah, I would just put him in a bunch of defense. He's probably not even good. Yeah, he's got great reviews, but he's not good. Like he's terrible, but he's got this one thing right here that is insanely good. So let's just say you get his defense up to like whatever, everyone's going to get like a big boost to their defense. So just that alone is worth it. And then the increased defense is good. There you go. He's basically a defense hero. He's going to keep everyone alive. All this other crap, we don't really care about. None of that stuff's useful. All right, let's get out of here. Varl the Destroyer. This is like what happens if Venom and Spider-Man had a baby and then lit him on fire. Attacks one enemy, heals this champion by 30% of damage inflicted. I like that. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a weaken debuff for 2 turns. Also places a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns on those enemies who receive a weaken. So basically you get both. So you get decreased attack and weaken if it lands. I like that. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Destroys the target's max HP by 50% of the damage inflicted. So basically he's good for Scarab. Places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn if the attack kills an enemy. I mean, yeah, I'll take it. Increases champion's attack by 10% each time they use an active skill. Stacks up to 100%. And it resets each round. Okay, that just wasted it. So you'd have to be able to use like what's making him use extra skills? He doesn't even have an extra attack, right? So basically, you would have to put him in Relentless for this to even matter. Otherwise, it's just a 10% boost. So just make a 10% boost to attack, and you don't even need the passive. There you go, garbage. He's not bad. I like him. Like I said, he's not. Yeah, people hate him, but he's not as bad as the other ones we just looked at. Looks like there's a lot of garbage orcs. Look at this guy. This guy looks like somebody decided they were just going to put every horror movie together into one hero, and it didn't work out. It didn't work well. I have a feeling this guy's bad reviews just from looking at him. Yeah. Bad reviews, not surprising. Let's see what he does with his garbage horror movie look. Attacks one enemy, steals 10% of the target's turn meter. He can repeat it. Ooh, that's exciting. Attacks one enemy 2 times before attacking. Transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target. Then applies debuff spread. Whatever. Attacks all enemies before attacking. Removes all buffs from all enemies. And damage increases by 5% for. See, that's a good skill. Fills the champion's turn meter by 15%. I don't hate this skill. This is a good one. At the start of this champion's turn, place a 50% increased accuracy buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on them for 1 turn. At the end of the champion's turn, places a decreased crit rate debuff and a decreased crit damage debuff on the enemy with the highest crit damage for 1 turn. I mean, this is probably why he has like 1 or 2 spots that are good. Like these 2 skills, however, they're just stupid. Like they're useful, but they're dumb. Warlord. Everyone likes this guy for a lot of different reasons. He's a great support. I'm sure his reviews are really good. Attacks one enemy, 25% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on a target. So that's amazing on an A1. Means you do it every single round. Places block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn, then places a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. Awesome. And this is based on attack. Of course it is. Attacks all enemies, has a 70% chance of putting each target's skill on cooldown, has a 30% chance to fully deplete each target's turn meter. Okay. So yeah, I mean, everyone likes him for that kind of stuff. He's probably good for arena. Like everyone seems to, yeah, arena. That's where everyone seems to like him. Uh, I mean, I don't love him, but I don't hate him. I think he's worth building. Is he a top tier for me? I don't really know. It depends on what you're trying to do and what kind of team you're trying to build. But I mean, the fact that he can fully deplete turn meter and do skills on cooldown is, I mean, that's a very impressive skill set. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I would build him. Angar. He looks. I don't know why that stupid metal song, Angar, that came in my head, but now Angar. All right, A1 attacks 2 times, has places an extra hit if you can get provoked. Oh, if they have a provoke. Attacks all enemy, places provoke on them for 1 turn, 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff on them for 2 turns. Okay, and then reflect damage and counterattack buff on this champion, but the reflect is on everyone, so that's okay. If an enemy with provoke debuff attacks this champion, has a 40% chance of replacing it with another provoke debuff for 1 turn. Okay. Has a 90% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff on the enemy for 1 turn when under. Yeah, like I said, these skills are so stupid. Uh, he's not terrible. Like he's got a reasonable set, but yeah, I probably would skip him there's way better orcs. I wouldn't waste my time on it. This hero right here looks badass, and if I remember correctly, is really good. So attacks one enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 10% of this champion's max HP. That is immediately amazing if this wasn't a freaking attack hero. You dumbasses. Removes all debuffs from all allies and then places 50% increased attack buff and a shield buff equal to 25% of this champion's max HP. Okay, what a surprise again. Revives all dead allies and yeah, okay. And then at the start of each turn fills turn meter and then places a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. Will not. So basically, this skill is stupid and useless. Like we don't even care about attack. Just load her up with speed and HP. Like, yeah, like it's why is this attack? There's zero reason for this to be attack. She's awesome, which is the funny part. He probably has she has good reviews. But why is this based on attack? Like she's an HP freaking hero. How dumb are they? Oh my god, I hate when they do that crap. It's like just make it right the first time. This isn't rocket science, guys. Come on, Raid. Make your good heroes good. All right, Supreme Golek. He is the Supreme version. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a extra 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Each hit has a 40% chance of increasing the duration of any HP burn. Okay, that's cool. Attacks 4 times at random, places increased attack. Each hit has a 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Also, you can activate HP burns and fills the champion turn meter with HP burns when they are receiving an attack. So great. Attacks all enemies, has an extra 10% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Has a 75% chance of placing HP burn and block buffs. So this guy's basically an HP burner. That's all. Is this the one that heals needs to be on fire? No, that's someone else, right? Yeah, he's cool. He's all right. He's good for Hydra and anything that you need fire for. So Spider, Hydra, Clan Boss possibly, and he activates burn, so that means he can do some real damage with that. So yeah, I would bring him into Clan Boss probably, and Hydra. That would be my spots for him. Ultimate Golek. Look at this. This is his Pokemon evolution. He gets a bigger helmet and fire. He's a fire Pokemon now. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a HP burn debuff on the target for 2 turns if this champion is under an increased attack buff, but only if they're under that. So stupid already. Fills this champion's turn meter by 10% if the attack is critical. Fills champion's turn meter by 5% if the attack is not critical. Also situational. Hate it. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. If they're I already hate him. Like I hate him. You have to have attack up. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. I get that it's easy to put attack up. I get it. You can do it right in the first part of the round, and he's going to always do it. but that's stupid. Why is there the situational to just put the burn on him once again? Let's see. This guy actually had on another account. He was kind of fun. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a decreased defense, decreased accuracy. Sorry. Attacks all enemies has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Also has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on each critical hit. So basically, he has to have crit, places provoke debuff on one of the enemies, and a 75% chance of placing provoke debuff for 1 turn on 2 random enemies, and he puts reflect damage buff and unkillable. So like I said, he's really good if you want to stay alive. He's good in the arena. He's good for a lot of things. He's not my top tier hero, but I did build him. He was pretty good. Yeah, he's got good reviews, but I think it's really, what was it, this one? This is his big one because he can do decreased attack and defense, the whole in one hit. So he's basically, what's that guy? Stag Knight. He's kind of like that, but in orcs. But he can also go unkillable. Old Hermit Jorg. All right, so he has an attack on one enemy, 30% chance of placing HP burn debuff. That's actually not bad for an A1 skill. Places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and fills turn meter, so that's good. And revives 2 random allies with 60% HP, then fills a turn meter by 40% and places a perfect veil on them. I mean, yeah, this is basically Apothecary, but with revive. So yeah, I'll take it, right? Sure, and he's got increased attack, also 50%. Yeah, he's basically, you take, what's his name? Apothecary, and you take Spirit Host, and he's both. Yeah, that's why he's got good reviews. I'm not surprised. I would build him probably pretty immediately. I would use him in a lot of different places just to replace those two if he's that good. I would get his speed up and phenomenally fast. Uh, Tagore, Tagawar. All right. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each was it places 60% decreased defense debuff. Oh no, increased defense debuff on an ally with the lowest HP, so that's not bad. Attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, then heals them. Okay, so it's a heal and speed. Revives all dead allies and places a shield buff on them. It's equal to his HP, so that's good. And then decreases the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. Okay, so he's got like that low end save, that I'm gonna save you from dying kind of thing going on. Yeah, I mean he's not terrible. He's usable, 100% usable. You could put him in a shield set, and he can be your support hero. This one I don't even think I've ever seen or heard of before. Maruka. All right, let's see. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a decreased speed. That's good for Iron Twins immediately. Removes all debuffs from a target and then heals them by 50% of their max HP. I like that. Places a revive on death buff for 2 turns. I'm not a big revive on death person. Each time this champion is hit, increases their defense by 2.5%, stacks up to 20%, and resets each round. So basically, if she was a taunter, then this would be great. Otherwise, it's just good. It's good enough because it's there and she didn't have it. So yeah. I mean, how do I feel about her? She's not terrible. I don't hate her. She's got the decreased speed, so I'd probably build her just for that. But yeah, reasonable. Yeah, I mean, she's got some bad spots, but whatever. She's not terrible. Definitely not a first tier hero. Torture Helm, we already did him. We went over him. We have a champion spotlight on him. Really good for the secret room in. Literally, I said room. It wasn't rooms. It was literally the secret room in Doom Tower. He's really good for that because it's only orcs. So yeah, you could bring him in. Only orcs, and they have to be epic as well. So I was able to beat it with just him and Bloodfeather. So yeah, those two are really good combo. But yeah, he revives himself and he stays alive. That's it. He steals buffs. He's pretty good. Zargala, everyone loves her. Yeah, they like her more than they like Galek. So attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a weaken. This is really where her people really like her, is because she attacks one enemy and instantly activates crack armor skill if you kill someone. So basically, if someone's low HP, you smack them with this, which is actually a pretty high damage attack, and then she goes right into crack armor and attacks all enemies 3 times and places decreased defense on the first hit, which is like insane. And then yeah. So basically the next 2 hits, they're getting decreased defense and hit. So yeah, she does insane damage. So if you need an orc to do tons of damage, Zargala is your girl. I would definitely build her. Bloodfeather, once again, we have a champion spotlight on her. You can watch that if you like. Really good single target hero. She got us through a couple different things. She can be used in Fire Knight if you need a turn meter specialist. She does, a bunch of different things, but it's mainly just single target damage. So if you need someone who does a lot of damage really quickly in a short period of time to one enemy, She is your gal. Bone Keeper. This is basically Seer, but bad, right? Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing decreased defense debuff, but it has to be critical. Attacks one enemy. This attack deals 50%. Really? Extra crit damage. What's that about? This is all single target, though, right? Attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the attack is. Yeah. Yeah. I can't see this being good. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, like I said, she's whatever. She's garbage. Shaman, everybody had in the beginning of the game, except for me because I started when she wasn't the login hero. So yeah, funny enough, it actually made me happy that I don't have her because one, I don't really like her, but she could get us through faction crip. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was all we would need would be a reviver and we would be able to beat it literally today. So that sucks. But at the same time, not everyone's going to get her, obviously, because I didn't get her. So it actually makes sense that I don't use her, unfortunately, because not everyone will get her if you join during a legendary event. So maybe your best bet is to not join when there's a legendary event. That way you definitely get her. But either way, she's not bad. She has revive. She does some pretty cool stuff. She has a freeze, I think, right, or something. No, she removes a buff. She does increase crit rate. But really, this is why she's good. She revives an ally. Like other than that, she's useless. So there you go. It's a reviver. Terror Beast. Everyone seems to like this guy. Has a one, has a one. Attacks one enemy, has 20% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target's skills. That's reasonable. Attacks two times at random. I hate it already. Don't like random. Attacks one enemy two times. Fully heals this champion if the target is killed. All right, so that's if killed. I don't like him. He's garbage. What's his reviews? He's got to be really. He has review. He actually has people like this thing. Oh my god. All right, Vrask. Maybe this is the one I'm thinking that's really good. Let's see. Fills his champion's turn meter by 20%. Attacks one enemy. Heals an ally by 10% of this whenever this champion inflicts a critical hit. I mean, I guess that could be a use right there. I don't hate him, but he's got a heal. So there's that, and he fills his own turn meter. What's the point of this skill? Literally just attacks one enemy. Like that's all it is. It's a pointless skill. This is really the only thing that makes him good. Is that when he crits? So just throw a bunch of crit on him and let him heal. Of this champion, I would just put him in a bunch of HP and let him crit. Who cares how much damage he does? He just heals. He's basically Syl, but he has to crit. There you go. But just no revive, obviously. So he's nowhere near Syl. But he's got that idea. Like he's just gonna attack every round. Up here we go. This is Sandlash Survivor. Attacks one enemy two times. It's a 30% chance of placing Provoke debuff on the target for one turn if this champion has no debuffs. Heals by 15% of the damage inflicted if this champion's under debuff. So situational. Attacks all enemies. Decreases duration of all enemy buffs by one turn. And increases duration of ally buffs. So that's, I mean, Valerie does that. So do I need her? Ally protection buff for 2 turns when any ally's HP drops below 50%. Also has a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. I guess. So that means that's not terrible. That's a good way to say it. She's a Hail Mary. That's all she is. So that's not terrible. Yeah, like I said, she's not terrible. You could use her in Hydra as a Hail Mary. I'll take it. Yellow gonna not work here anymore. Look at these boots. She really is wearing apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur. All right. She has an attack on one enemy 2 times, places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, but you have to kill them, so that's whatever. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing decreased attack debuff, so AoE decreased attack. Attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of placing block buffs debuff and a block active skills debuff. This attack is always critical. So that's actually not a bad skill. Revives one random ally with 50% HP. I mean, she can revive, so there you go. And she's got attack and faction crypt, so if you need attack, you can make your hero stronger. And she kind of looks interesting. She looks like a vampire orc. I like it. I don't hate her. I definitely think she's okay. Trumbor we actually own, but we can't use them. Attacks one enemy 2 times. First hit has a 30% chance of placing a weaken. Second has a chance of placing a leech. Attacks all enemies. Removes 1 random buff from all allies before attacking. And then damage increases by 5% for each debuff removed. So yeah, if you bring this guy into like the spider, where he poisons the crap out of your whole team right in the first round. Well, there you go. Boom, you get a whole damage increase there. Ally protection and increased defense. Both very good things. Whenever this champion is attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all debuffs on this champion. So, I mean, he's a really good tank. I mean, you could use him for a lot of different stuff. I'm going to drink my tea. There's nothing like talking about orcs while drinking tea. All right, next one. All right, everyone likes Seer. She can do insane amounts of damage. She's great for wave clears and higher levels. I mean, just build her. Do we really need to go oversee her? Everybody says she's good. All right, Tuhawk. Tuhawk. Tuhawk Mage. All right, I probably said that wrong. So if you're German, I apologize. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by 1 turn at random. Increases the cooldown of all the target skills by 1 turn instead if this champion. Oh my god, it's so boring. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing decreased speed debuff. Also places down the two, blah blah, heals the champion if the damage inflicted. Blah, yeah. Oh my god, steals. This guy's got a book going on. Do people like this? People like this, huh? All right, well, whatever. Let's see. Attacks one enemy, steals 50% of the target's current turn meter, has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 2 turns, steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this champion has less than 50%. I see, I don't care about these situational things. I hate them. Decrease the damage taken by this champion by 20% when their HP drops below 60%. I mean, he's defensive. He'll do damage. He's got some reasonable, like, he can do debuffs, and that's really he's just annoying to read. I could imagine him being okay. I feel like he would be good, but we're not gonna. I wouldn't really put him on my list. Tolf the Maimed. Huh. What happened to you, booby? Did you get your arms cut off? Forearms only? All right. Hey, he just looks funny. He looks funny because his arms are really close to. Honestly, the sword's arms are actually the least worrisome thing about this character. The fact that his arms are so close to his body is really bogging me. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit heals the champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. Attacks one enemy when not attacking bosses, ensures pure damage. No, sorry, inflicts pure damage and decrease the target's HP to 50%. Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP instead, and places a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target already has less than 50% HP. Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP when attacking bosses. This attack cannot be critical. That was a lot to say nothing. Attacks decrease the value of all enemy shield buff. All right, yeah, he's garbage. This dude is trash. Yeah, maybe in Faction Wars, that's about it. Yeah. Liburga. She does poisons on her A1. She does poisons on her A2 and poison sensitivity. She does increased defense and attack on all allies for 2 turns. And when attacked, has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all poison debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So that is a clan boss champion right there, right? Yeah, Demon Lord. That's literally it. Otherwise, she sucks. I mean, you look at everything else, she's terrible. But yeah, Dragon and Faction Wars maybe, but otherwise, yeah, I would build her for clan boss. I mean, I have a very limited amount of poison heroes that are pretty good. Death Chanter, not as bad as everyone says, but not good. Attacks one enemy, has a shield buff for 2 turns. The value of the shield is equal to 20% of damage inflicted. I hate that. Attacks one enemy, damage increases according to this champion's current HP. Once again, I hate it. Attacks one enemy, places a 100% heal reduction debuff for 3 turns. Even hate that too. Yeah, he's good in Spirit Keep. Everywhere else, keep him away. Chopper. Chopper's actually not as bad as that guy. Attacks one enemy. He has decreased defense debuff. He's got stun for 1 turn if the target's current HP is lower than this champion's current HP. He's not an HP hero, is he? Good. About to say that would be stupid. Attacks one enemy, removes 2 random buffs from the target. Actually, this guy's more useful than that last guy. Like, way more useful, and I feel like he would be actually pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a 4 in arena, but that's weird. I don't know why he's in arena. I would choose him for other things. Anywhere you want to remove. Galek, we don't need to review. He's got his own champion spotlight. Really good hero. He's one of the starting heroes that you can pick. He does insane damage. He's great for campaign farming. He's great for dungeons. He's great for everything except for clan boss. I wouldn't say he's good in clan boss. Some people here would probably say he's good in clan boss. Let's see. Demon Lord, 4.5. He does not deserve a 4.5 in clan boss. I'm not going to lie. 4.5 is like Frozen Banshee. All right. Just to kind of give you where my ranking's at, that's a 4.5. This dude's a solid 3, maybe in clan boss, and that's only because he has decreased defense. But that's literally it. Spikehead. This is the baby of Torture Helm. He's the same size, but he's a baby. Just go with it. Attacks one enemy 2 times. He places a 15% increased crit rate buff and attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Attacks one enemy 3 times, has an extra 20% chance of inflicting a critical hit. I mean, these are good for Fire Knight. I would say that's probably his spot, and even there, they hate him. So yeah, would I go crazy building him? Probably not. I mean, Let's rephrase that. Would I do it? Yes. Would you guys do it? And should you do it? No. Pig sticker. One of my two. I think these are my two favorite orcs. Like as far as like like how they look and their skill sets. And that's just because they're just cool enough where they both have a use, but it's like a limited use. So has a 50% chance of placing a heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Destroys target's max HP by 20% of the damage inflicted. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Destroys the target's max HP by 30% of damage inflicted. So she's really good against, guess what? Scarab King. And she has an attack up in Doom Tower battles. So yeah, I don't think she's going to have good reviews. Actually, she does. Not surprising. But yeah, actually, it's surprising because I thought she was gonna have bad reviews. But Pig Sticker, pretty good hero. Not really good for faction wars though, so much. It's like the burns are great for like the bosses, but getting through the waves is where you're gonna have some trouble because of all the extra crap. So you need like removal of buffs and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, she's not that great for that, but if you have a good team, then she is good. Ironclad's only as good as you make him. So he has a heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So that makes him useful for some things. Removes 1 random buff from all allies and places a 25% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. So that's at least something, right? And when healed, will attack all enemies inflicting damage proportional to any surplus heal. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of any surplus heal. So reasonably speaking, you could conceivably do this where you literally put him on a team for the orc faction crypt. It would be conceivable that you could put him with 4 healers that revive so that no one can die, and then just let him get healed. Give him all the HP he can. Make sure the heals are based on his HP. So this is where I would say the opposite is true. Where having somebody who can heal based on the other person's HP would actually be a good thing because then you could heal him based on his HP and not your crappy healer HP. And yeah, just stack him with HP and he'll just do insane amounts of damage probably by countering and attacking whenever he's healed, right? And it attacks all enemies, which is insane. So we will be building him, and I definitely think there's some things we can do with him. We'll see how it goes. Gore Mask. This guy is kind of whatever. We actually haven't built him yet. We have him his skills maxed. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Damage increased if by 20% if the attack is critical on his second, which also attacks one enemy, and then attacks one enemy will ignore shield and block damage. So that's okay, but probably not worth much of anything else. I don't think he's really that good. Tree Feller, another one of the interesting orcs. They're not terrible. Places a 25% decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns with 1 attack. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing poison. Each hit also has a 50% chance of placing decreased speed, so that's not bad. And then she also drops bombs, but it's once again it's at random, so that's kind of suck. But if you're fighting someone who's by himself and it doesn't matter, then that's poison and bombs that you get to put and drop accuracy. So yeah, I would say she's not a bad hero. I don't think she's the best, but she's not bad. She's worth building. Twin Claw, we know he's awesome. He's got heal reduction, he's got weakens, he's got all kinds of stuff. Does really good, insanely good single target damage if you need someone who is force affinity. So I wouldn't. He's probably got the worst reviews. Yeah, worst reviews, but he's actually not bad. Is he one of these heroes that I'm going to say you should build him right from the beginning? No, but now that I built him, I'm super glad I built him. He actually got us through some of the more crazy fights in the city because him and what's his name and oh my God, and Lordly Legionary, who everyone hates also, work well in tandem. So there we go. Raider. Actually, Raider's not bad, I think, right? Attacks one enemy 2 times. Attacks 2 times if the target's HP percentage is higher than this champion. Attacks all enemies and 25% chance of placing decreased speed. And then attack one enemy has a 60% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Also has a 60% chance of placing decreased defense. Actually, I like that. We need somebody like her, I think. I might consider getting her. She's one of the few ones that we had before, but I think we had to fuse her, so we don't have her anymore. So I would like to get her back. Totem. She's basically War Maiden with poisons as well. She can remove one debuff, so I mean 1 buff from an enemy, so that's good in itself. But her defense down is 30%. So you can get War Maiden. Like is she good for faction wars? Yes. Is she good for anything else? No, because technically speaking, War Maiden would be better. All right, Wyvern Bane. This is the other one that I think looks cooler. Attacks one enemy, decrease speed. So that's actually good for Iron Twins. Attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 20%, and then attacks one enemy and places an HP burn. So yeah, she's got some reasonable skills. I mean, it's funny because it's just the right skills on this, even though she only attacks one enemy. Her damage is pretty high, so I feel like her multipliers are insanely high. So good for single target damage. Veteran, everyone seems to like him. He has a decreased attack on his A1, attacks 2 times, attacks one enemy on his A2, places a 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 3 turns if the target is killed, and it's based on defense, so that's not bad. Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing block buffs, debuff for 1 turn. Damage increases according to this champion's max HP. So he's got HP, he's all over the place. So yeah, just that alone would make me hate him. But I know that everyone loves him. Yeah, he's got good reviews, so don't go by me. But the fact that he's defense, attack, and HP, yeah, this is stupid. You got to focus on too much stuff. Huntress, we actually had her for a very short period of time. Attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. And let's see the next one. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 25% weakened debuff, and places a 50% increased crit rate buff and attack buff on this champion. That's all useless stuff. So I'm glad we didn't keep her because she's not good. Ripper Fist. This guy is, yeah, he's funny. He looks like Bowser. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a decreased attack debuff. He does heal reduction for 2 turns if this champion has full HP, and he attacks 3 times, so that's actually pretty good. Each hit has a 50% chance of heal reduction debuff for 2 turns if the champion has less. That's all. This is dumb. Places a 25% increased attack buff on this champion for 1 turn and decreases the cooldown of ripped. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't give him a good review. He's kind of whatever. Good for Fire Knight, I guess is what he said, right? Yeah. War Chanter, he does a stun and he attacks all enemies and has a chance of putting decreased attack debuff. Also has 25% chance of placing provoke, which doesn't make sense. Oh, he actually does because he's HP, right? This is HP. This is oh, this is based on attack. That's stupid. If this was HP, I'd say it'd be better, but this one is HP, so I guess I would just give him a bunch of HP and let him stun. He's definitely not bad. I'm not mad at him. Sun Tribe, she basically she heals by 10%. And she sacrifices HP, so garbage. We don't want sacrificing of any HP on heroes. It is a stupid, stupid skill. Tracker. Funny enough, the name of a lot of my old school characters back in the day. I don't know, I just like the name Tracker. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a chance of placing poison, so that's good. Attacks one enemy and has a 20% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense. So decreased defense and poison. All very good early game clan boss stuff. Throat Cutter. 2 times at random, no, not at random, attacks 2 times, and then has an extra turn if the target is killed on their A2. Also one enemy. I mean, garbage. War Boy. I sang it last time. Fell in love with the War Boy. All right. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. That's it. So he's a provoker, and it's based on defense. So you could use him as a provoker in what's his cooldown? There's no cooldown on this. So if you want to take a 15% chance of provoking, you can bring him into Magma Dragon. Good luck with that. I mean, I did it with 25% and it was bad, so I could imagine what 15 is. I mean, that's everybody. So if I had to pick the ones that I would like the most, I mean, I don't really care about Garrel, but let's see. I don't even know. There's a lot of garbage in here. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of bad orcs. I don't know what they were doing there, but if I had to pick one of these legendaries to have. I mean, I already have Artak, but he's in the vault. But if I was choosing one more, it's a tough one. I mean, I honestly am leaning towards her, Tila, just because I really like her skill set. So I would probably say Tila. I think she's the one I would want. And then the other one was a support hero, either Jorag I would want. Honestly, probably Jorag. That's the one I would probably pick. Everyone else here is good, but like there's a couple. Like the best part of this faction really is in the epics. It looks like. I mean, you've got Seer. So yeah, I would probably say Seer would be the other one. So Seer or Jorag would be the two that I'd go for here. And then these I have everybody, so I don't have to look around, but they're all pretty good. I think out of everyone here, obviously, I mean, just Golek is literally the only one who's the obvious winner on being the best one out of all of these guys. But outside of him, honestly, I would probably say Twinclaw right now. I know that Ironclad has the ability to be better and has some interesting things you can do with him, but other than that, I would probably say Twinclaw is my favorite. Totem would be a close second. So those are the ones I like. So Totem, Twinclaw, and Gaelic. And yeah, I guess we'll maybe think about using what was it, Tracker? Either way, the one that I said was good. That's the one I want. But there you go. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to say, any comments, if I don't know about a certain hero, because whatever, leave a comment. Let me know how you use them. It's always good to tell other people because I don't use these heroes, so I don't know. I'm only going based on what I'm reading, and a lot of this is off the cuff. So I could be wrong, and I might miss things, especially when somebody bores me with with how long the reading is. I can't do it. It's just too much annoyance, and I don't even care if the hero's good. And as always, like, share, subscribe. We do a live stream every single week. And yeah, you can join our Discord. You can do all kinds of stuff. All right. So that's it. This is the Orc Faction overview. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd. And you guys take care.